Hey guys, today we meet Nick Huber for our podcast. Nick is the Director of Design and Community of CHOU-TAC, an online platform that connects designers to the brands through design competitions.
We're interested in ideas, not that the designers are spending a ton of time putting in the work. So the quickest way to get your ideas out is sketching. So the designers who have strong sketching skills and can put their ideas down the quickest are obviously at an advantage because they can submit multiple ideas and they can get a lot of work out there. Where if there's a designer who's maybe their sketching skills aren't as good and they rely on the computer to sort of adjust their stuff, that takes a lot more time.
I see.
So it's going to limit the amount of work that they can do, or it's just going to take them a lot longer to do the same amount of work. And like I said, in that first round of design, because the designers in the first round of projects, they don't know if they're going to get the project and get paid yet. So
yeah,
we don't want them to have to work long hours.
Yeah. So
anything that can facilitate speed is a good thing, and anything, and the great thing about a good sketch is not only can you do a good sketch fast, but they're really good at telling a story. Sometimes better, actually frequently better than say a computer rendering. So obviously, if designers can improve their sketching skills, it makes them a much stronger first round applicant for our projects.
do you think, like, for designers, like let's say for sportswear, let's say designers for Nike or for Adidas, like, does it need to be a great players of this type of sports to be to make good products?
No, I think definitely having, if you're designing athletic product, I think having played a sport can certainly be a benefit and be an asset to a designer. But I don't think that you necessarily have to be a great basketball player to design basketball product. I don't think that you have to be a great soccer player to design great soccer product. But you need to know how to talk to the athletes who are participating in those sports and get a good idea of what their needs are, because really that at the end of the day, that's what we're doing. We're creating product that meets the needs of a user.
For people who are not really into designs, like for their first top in mind would be like designers is just for making products beautiful or something like more like artistics.
Well, I mean, certainly there is a lot of product that is simply designed to look pretty. But that's a fashion thing. I mean, that's making things look pretty is fashion. Making things look better and work better. That's industrial design.
Okay.
I like to make the aesthetics reflect the function of the product. So if my background's in footwear design. So if I'm designing a shoe that's all about some new cushioning technology or whatever it is, then I want the aesthetics to reflect that this shoe has the best cushioning. I want it to look like a cushioning shoe. Or if the shoe is all about providing like ankle stability, I want the aesthetics of it to reflect that.
And how do you find inspirations to translate all these things?
I mean, inspiration can be anywhere. I mean, there's there's sort of the go-to for a lot of designers, and it's a great one that I use as well is looking for occurrences in nature that are similar to what you're trying to do. I mean, just like anything, you're not the first to do. You're never really the first to do anything. That things. Like what, no matter what you're working on, there have been things similar in the past, whether it's, something in nature, whether, it's like camouflage on a bug, or, there are examples that have occurred before you that you can look to. And so it's always good to look and see what's out there. First, not necessarily like, I mean, if you're designing a product, you're not necessarily looking at, the same type of product in the market. Looking at other products and how other people have have solved this problem in the past, or how nature has solved this problem in the past.
When you present a project to the brands, do you show all this inspiration to them as well?
Absolutely, inspiration is very important, because really what you're trying to do is you're selling a story.
Okay.
And inspiration is integral to the story. And it's all sort of about, it's all about marketing, and conveying the story. And, a product that has a story, creates a much stronger connection with the user. And, inspiration, even sometimes, initial sketches about other things are part of that story as well.
So you mean like when the designers need to have a good reflection of his product to see how to translate it into products, but he need to be able to sell it to the brands as well?
Well, absolutely. Especially with a process like ours, where at the end of the day, your work is being shown to a brand alongside a lot of other designers' work. So, what is it that you're doing to make your work stand out? And the best way to make your work stand out is obviously having quality design. Having the best quality design is a great way to make it stand out. But there's a lot of high quality designs. So how do you make your great design stand out from the other great designs? The best way to do that is through conveying the story. Stories are great because they cause an emotional attachment, and when you become emotionally attached to something, I guess your attraction towards it is that much stronger.
I got a lot of questions from students from the blogs that ask me some tips about portfolios, about presentation compositions, how to present a project. Do you have any tips to make the project more standing out?
I think story. Like we were just talking about, story is so important, because in a portfolio, you're really you're presenting a couple things. First, the brand wants to see your skill, like how talented of a designer are you. But they also want to understand your thought process. How did you arrive at this design? Because, if they're looking to hire you, they're not hiring you because of the work that you have done. They're hiring you because of the work that they think you're going to do.
Oh, okay.
So they want us, by seeing your ideas and your process and your story, it lets them know that you're a good design thinker, and that what you have put on the paper here, you will be able to replicate under their employment, and then create great designs for them.
You are looking for your potential.
Exactly. And I think you had a post about this. There are a lot of designers that are kind of afraid to put their work out there, because they're afraid that someone's going to copy it.
Yeah.
And while that is a possibility, the odds of it the odds of that happening are fairly low. But by not showing your work, like I said, you have to show your work so that people can see, what you've done, what you're capable of. But the reality is, they're not hiring you because you did this great design 5 years ago. They're hiring you because they think that the design you did 5 years ago shows your ability to create a great design next week. Next month, next year. That's what they're interested in. They're interested in what you're going to be able to do for them.
Yeah. What is the advantage of the brands to go and look at projects from young designers? Is it something risky, or is it something that it's beneficial for them?
So it's not just about connecting young designers with the brands. Really, it's about connecting designers in general with the brands. Whether that designer is fresh out of school, whether they have 3 to 5 years experience, whether they have 20 years of experience. Really, what we're all about is leveling the playing field. And because what we are interested in, and what the brands ultimately are interested in, is good ideas. The good idea is what wins. Whether that good idea comes from a young designer or a designer with 20 years of experience. One of the things that a lot of designers sort of encounter when they're trying to get into the industry, and why we do get some younger designers, is, you know, if you're applying for a job, or if you're looking for freelance work, let's say, and you know, and you have a year or two of experience, but there's someone else who has 10 years of experience. You know, to the brand, that person with the 10 years experience, they're probably going to go with that designer, you know, simply because of their experience. But that doesn't mean that their ideas are better than yours as the younger designer. And a lot of times, you know, a young designer who maybe doesn't, you know, they're willing to they can break some of the rules and come up with some really innovative stuff. And so we're all about leveling that playing field. If you've got a good idea, we don't care whether you're fresh out of school or have 20 years experience. It's the good idea that we're interested in. Now, with our process, there are times where a brand, you know, selects a great idea from a younger designer that maybe doesn't have the experience or the technical background to make that design a reality. But we do have the experience and the technical background, so we will work with that designer. And the brand to make sure that their great idea can be executed. Because at the end of the day, what the brand doesn't want pretty pictures. They want functional product that they can produce and sell. So we will work with the younger designers to make sure that their product can be produced and sold. So, you know, some of the younger designers can gain from that learning experience. But again, at the end of the day, it's all about the good idea, you know, rather than the experience.
Actually, what was surprising me is that, let's say, Nike and Adidas are big brands, and they already have a testing products department. And what are the reasons why they come to see you, actually?
Yeah, I mean, so a lot of the bigger brands do have these processes internally, but one thing that we sort of learned is actually surprising how many brands do not have a process for testing their product. And so we work with them to sort of implement a process, and then, you know, we've got a whole you know, web platform that we've developed that, you know, even the brands that do have their own process, what they're dealing with generally is they still do things kind of old school, where they'll send product to a tester, right? That tester will wear the product. They'll fill out a form or send an email to the person who's running the product testing, saying, "Here's what I thought of the product." And that's really great. But there's, you know, it's a lot of it's slow. It's a slow process. Where with our platform, you know, they're not mailing in a sheet of paper saying what they thought of they're filling out as they're using the product. They're giving instant feedback on it. You know, I got the product today. I went on a 5-mile jog. Here's what, you know, here's how it fit. Here's what I asked about. You're getting that information immediately, which gives the product testing department and the brand an opportunity to reach out and, hey, you know, we noticed that you said this about the product. Can you take a picture of that so we can see what's going on? Or can you elaborate on that? We're trying to get a better idea. So brands are able to identify if there's an issue with the product, they're able to identify it much faster. And then, you know, our feedback for the product is displayed in really beautiful graphs and reports that are generated instantly. Where traditionally they're looking at Excel spreadsheets,
I understand,
and then spending days to generate a report. With our process, you really push a button.
So you guys have somehow like a software to combine all the data and make them very easy to read for the brands.
Exactly.
And I guess and you guys can already I guess like also giving some recommendation of what are the different action to take from there.
Yeah, we can certainly do that as well. A lot of times we're just generating the feedback and from the users. But if they're looking for recommendations, we can do that as well.
If the company is from Asia, is from anywhere from the world, is it a problem for you guys?
No, not at all. And we've worked with a lot of international brands and any more. I mean, even American-based brands are they're serving the world. So we have to be able to work with brands all around the world. And yeah, so I mean we're actually based out of Portsmouth, New Hampshire, but being that we're an online platform, basically we just need you to be connected to the internet, which nowadays everyone is.
Yes. Let's go back for the students.
Sure.
Well, I guess like your community connecting like the designers to the brands, there might have happening a lot of proposal of internship or job, I guess, to them.
Yeah, we have quite a few designers who start out working with us as students, and then ultimately get hired by a brand. And so we've got designers working at probably all the major brands, or most of the major brands all around the world. And then a lot of times those designers, when they're working internally, will come to us. They serve as like great ambassadors for what we're doing within the brand, and those brands will come back to us for more projects. And then and also maybe the designer's working as a freelancer.
Okay.
We've got projects for them as a freelancer. So we see a lot of designers kind of go from student to professional, and still working with us.
Okay. And what do you think like the designers, if there is like 3 things that designers need to have to be spotted, to be noticed by the brands, is there anything you could recommend?
Yeah, I think obviously sketching is incredibly important, because as designers, it's how we convey our ideas. It's how we get our ideas from our head down to paper. So if you can't get your idea from your head down to paper, then you're at a serious disadvantage to begin with. So sketching's very important. Okay. It also, as I mentioned before, when brands are looking at a designer's capability, they want to see how that designer thinks, and there's no better way to see how a designer thinks than to see how they sketch. From there, I think you need to have an ability to do research.
Okay.
As an industrial designer, we are sort of eternal students. Like you always need to be learning, and most of the time you're going to be designing product that's not for your demographic. If you're a 28-year-old guy, most of the products you design are probably not going to be for other 28-year-old guys. You might be designing for a 13-year-old girl. Yes. You might be designing for a 60-year-old man. So you need to be able to do the research to understand what that consumer needs, and what they want. Because if you can't create product that they're interested in, then it's no good. So the ability to do research is really important. But then also the ability to tell a story. At the end of the day, your product is going to go on a shelf next to dozens or even hundreds or even thousands of other similar product. Yep. When the consumer goes into the store, they don't know you. They might not even know the brand. So what is it that is going to make them, spend their hard-earned money on your product versus the product that's sitting next to it? And a lot of times that's your ability to convey a story with your product. Story, research, and sketching, I'd say, are probably the 3 most important things.
How about the designer's own personality? Do you think is it something that you should promote as well?
In your portfolio, absolutely. You should be promoting your own personality. If you've got a unique style, that maybe that's what the brand is interested in. And ultimately, when you go work for a brand, you need to convey the brand's personality and the brand style in your product. But the product that you're selling in a portfolio is you. So you need to convey your style, your personality to sell the product of you to the brand.
when you was yourself when you were students, how did you build your own style?
But you kind of start off. They say, I forget who says it, but that that great artists don't copy, they steal. And while I don't mean that in the sense of like just blatantly ripping someone off, it's part of the learning process.
Yep.
If you want to be a great writer, you need to read. As a designer, you need to try a lot of different styles. And if you see a style that you really like, try it. And over time, there are certain aspects of the different styles that you try are going to start to stick, and over time you'll end up creating your own style because it'll be a combination of these different styles that you tried.
Yeah.
But you'll never develop that if you're not practicing it.
So it's a lot of exploration, experimentations, and see what works for ourselves or not, and just trying out actually, and never fear of just failing anything, because students' time is actually the best time to just exploring new stuff and getting more mature actually.
Well, there's something really, really freeing about being a student, because basically when you're in school and you're studying, the end goal is to develop your skills and to get better and to sort of prepare yourself to be a professional. So experiment, try, do a lot of things, and may or may not work. Because when you're working as a professional and you're doing work for a client, you don't have that luxury. At the end of the day, the client's paying you, and they need what you're doing for them to be a success. So you need to have done the groundwork, as a student on your own, and experimented with things that some of it will be a success and will be really great, but also you'll try some stuff that just won't work. But learn like why didn't it, and learn from the failures as much as the successes.
But is it okay if the portfolio of the students is the project in the portfolio of the students is not like feasible, is not like maybe too costly, impossible to make? Does it matter for the brands?
Well, obviously you want to have stuff in your portfolio that kind of pushes the limits. But one of the things, as a student, you're going to have a lot of stuff in your designs that just simply cannot be made. It can't be manufactured, and it's because not necessarily understanding the manufacturing process, and that's okay. But if you can show that you understand the manufacturing process, and that you understand how product is made, and you have a product in your portfolio that clearly shows your understanding of the manufacturing process, it puts you ahead of the other designers. Now, obviously, you need to convey creativity. As a student, you're trying to be an industrial designer, not a fine artist. It's not just about coming up with a pretty picture. That pretty picture ultimately has to be a working product, and so you need to show the technical knowledge, because that's just as important.
Oh, Tom, thank you very much for all your information. Is there anything else you want to share?
I just think for designers to keep checking in on mesh01.com. We're constantly posting new projects. So if you check it out today and there's not a project that's interesting to you, come back, take a look next week, and maybe there's a project that is. And get out there, try stuff, try projects that are outside of your comfort zone, and have fun. Well, and it's good to try different things too. I'm a footwear designer, so I like to sit around and draw shoes, and I draw shoes all day long. But sometimes it's a drawing of a piece of furniture that makes my shoe designs better, or drawing a totally unrelated product. The knowledge. And the learning that happens from designing other products, you can then bring into to your field, and it just makes us better, more well-rounded designers to have some variety.
So Mesh One is more into sports goods, but designers who are not into sports goods are invited to participate as well.
What's the product that we work on is not just for sporting goods.
Okay.
We do mostly sporting goods. Like if you go on the site right now, we've got 3 projects that we're currently running. One is certainly a sporting goods product. It's a hydration pack. So for endurance athletes that are out running and need to carry water with them. So obviously that's very strong sporting goods. But we also have a project to do like a children's snowshoe. So when they're walking around the snow, it leaves fun footprints behind. So that's a little less sporty. And then there's also a project to design a family of two sleds. So there's quite a bit of variety. Last week we had some projects to design snow molds so that kids playing outside in the snow could use these forms, almost like a sandcastle form, but create objects in the snow. So and who knows, next week maybe there's a hiking boot project or something like that. So there's a wide variety of projects, and the whole idea is have fun, get creative, and see what you come up with.
Okay. Yep. Thank you very much.
I think that covers it. Really, at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is create opportunity for designers, and so anything that provides that opportunity. I sort of mentioned about we use primarily a crowdsourcing model, but we also because we have this community of designers, we also use a lot of designers on a freelance basis as well. Because not every project or not everything that a brand is looking for is really conducive to the competitive model. So a lot of our designers also freelance.
I would like to ask you, because for the moment my blog I'm targeting more the students, but I would like to have your feedback on this. Is there a lot of professionals which wish to have better drawing skills?
Absolutely, and personally, that's part of the reason why why I started following your blog is because sometimes as a professional, I find myself sketching less and less, and it, just like anything, that's a skill that you use it or you lose it, and as I've started sketching less and less, I've seen some of the sketching skills start to fade, and so it's just like working out. If you want to stay strong, you got to keep going to the gym. If you want to stay strong as a sketcher, you got to keep sketching.
Yes.
And so I started following your blog, for for selfish reasons of looking at it. It's inspiring, and it's caused me to start sketching more. So I've tried to make a concerted effort to sketch every day, where I guess you think as a student that you're when you work professionally, you're going to be drawing every day, and unfortunately that's not the reality. There's a lot of time, and you end up spending more time in meetings, and then at the end of the day,
usually more you grow, so you draw.
Well, I found myself doing like really rough like thumbnail sketches, basically of the level like you had a post the other day about sketching ugly, and I really like that post because the ugly sketches are basically what I would do, and I would bypass the pretty sketches and go straight to Illustrator. Because as a footwear designer, like I'm working, generally like what I'm showing is like a lateral view of a shoe, a sole view. I'm not showing too many of the flashy 3/4 views, that you might do in sketching. So I was going straight into Illustrator and bypassing the pretty sketches. But maintaining that ability to sketch helps my ability to tell the story.
Oh, that's interesting.
So it's been kind of inspiring and kind of humbling too to get back into sketching.
That's pretty cool what you say, because you're saying that what drive you to sketch more is actually the face of the ugly doodles. And usually this is what the students want to skip, because they're just trying to get the most beautiful sketch and all that, and then struggling to have the best things from one shot. And for you, having more experience, you are actually looking for what is I don't know, like the first two stage that what the students are trying to skip. It's like the inverse situation.
Well, one of the things that when I talk to a lot of students is I guess they don't. The problem that a lot of people have is, if someone's showing their work online, what they're showing you is the pretty product that they, even if it's a sketch, what you're seeing is the best sketch that they did. They're not showing like all of their sketches along the way. Everyone's showing like the best thing they did, because it's the internet. You want to show off what you can do. Designers don't really understand all the work that went into that. Yeah. And one of the conversations that I have with designers quite a bit is using an underlay. Yeah. Because, really at the end of the day, when I'm looking at a designer's work, I want to see correct proportions. I want to see a shoe that's in the, in the proper forms, and the best way to do that quickly is using an underlay. Yeah. I'd much rather you spend 5 minutes on the sketch where you used an underlay than 20 minutes to get that same proportions. And I think really, a lot of designers kind of feel that using an underlay is cheating, but it's not. It's how you get proportions correct quickly every time.
If they could, because as a designer, as you say, it's not totally like an artist, but there is a notion of productivity. Whereas, I guess now you're not student anymore, so you may have a family to take care of, so you might want to make sure that your time is, is used more smart, I would say.
Well, that's exactly right. And sketching serves a couple different purposes. And the one main purpose is getting the ideas from your head to paper as quickly as possible. Because if you don't, you'll lose the idea, or you'll lose the next idea. And so you want to get it. It's basically, they say, you're just trying to throw all the ideas in your head out on paper. Yes. And it really that first those sketches, it really doesn't matter how pretty they are.
Do you write a lot when you during your research? Because we see designers about sketchings, but how about writing?
Oh, I mean, when you're doing research, it's all about gathering information. It's really really that's for you. So however you can do it best, whether it's writing stuff down or a quick sketch, do whatever works best for you. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, when you're presenting to other people, though, more imagery, less text is always better. But in a research phase, generally that's for you. So whatever works best.
Yeah. Do you think is there anything my blog, the Design Sketchbook blog, can do better, or is lacking of?
No, I think that it's really good. I mean, I saw, I don't know where I saw your blog, when you first started it. I saw it within in the first month that you had started it. And I've seen people start similar things, and then a month later, it's gone. So I love the fact that you're still working on it and still doing it, and the fact that you sort of developed this body of work in there is great, because there's a lot to read about. But I think, I mean, like I said, one of my favorite posts was your one about ugly sketching, because I really think that a lot of designers get intimidated. And they develop bad habits because they're only seeing finished sketches that other designers have done, and they don't understand the groundwork that went into creating that sketch. They're just seeing the perfect sketch.
Yeah.
and I think it's good for designers to see that even the best sketchers draw some ugly things at times, and you have to draw, like not even like the ugly sketches, but you have to draw some things that aren't good to draw stuff that is good, and I don't know exactly which process, but I assume that like when I'm seeing a video of one of your sketches on on your site, I assume that you probably sketched that a couple times before, and I assume that I'm seeing the best one.
Depends. It depends. Depends. But sometimes you're lucky, sometimes you're less.
When you're looking through like hundreds of portfolios, if you're hiring someone, you're looking through hundreds of portfolios. And I even know from our projects that if I'm looking through like 30 different designs that have been submitted for a project, like that's a lot to look through.
Yeah.
So how does one stand out over the other? And sometimes it's the sketches and the story, and like if you just have the finished rendering, like maybe it just blends in with the others.
Too bad.
But I think I love what you're doing on the site. I think it's awesome. I mean, you've kept a sketching site up for over a year, and there's a lot of information and a lot of different topics in there that like I find myself like when I was on the plane flying out here, I found myself like pulling up a couple of the different articles and just kind of rereading through them, and it's
I appreciate
it. Keep doing what you're doing. It seems
thank you.
getting a pretty good following. But I think you said that you're trying to convey information for students, and I was looking through my mutual friends that are on that follow you on Facebook, and you actually have a pretty good blend of students and professionals. So.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much,
and have a great day for you, Trade Show.
Thank you.
See ya. Bye bye.
Bye.